Hello, hello, hello. This is Warren Redlich. I'm in trying a different location here. I am at Groundswell in Melbourne, Florida. This is a startup slash incubator location. Very fond of this location. I'm outside. I figure it's probably better if I live stream from outside. Hope everybody can hear me okay. I've struck by the past. I've been following Tesla for years. I started investing in 2016. I don't. Farouk says Tesla boomer mama got on his nerves yesterday. I don't watch her anymore, so I don't know. I've got her on mute, I think, or whatever. I blocked by Gary Black. I don't follow them, but I'm aware. My followers on Twitter keep sending me DMs with "Here's what Gary said today" or whatever. And I see Ross Gerber talking. And thanks for the comment on the shirt. So we'll see. I'm just trying this outside thing, just kind of curious to see how this goes. But I just was motivated by, for the last 6 years or so, the battle, if you can call it that, has been between Tesla bulls and Tesla bears. The Gordon Johnsons of the world, the Beagles, they're these people who are like insisting that Tesla's going to go bankrupt, that Tesla doesn't have a business model, that Elon's a fraud. And that's been no, this isn't a green screen. This is really I'm really in Melbourne, Florida. There's the Indian River's behind me. I don't think you can see the Indian River, but out there, that's the Indian River. What's the name of this park? Something like Riverview or Riverside Park or something like that. So I came here. I'm spending the day here. There's an event later today that I'm going to, and then I'm going out to, of course, my country line dancing at Hurricane Creek tonight. Just so everybody if you want to know where I'm going to be, that's where I'm going to be. Hurricane Creek line dancing lessons. So I live up in Cape Canaveral. I come down here for events, and sometimes I just hang out here. I join this place. If you live in the Melbourne area, I encourage you to join Groundswell. Come out and check the place out. Join. It's like $25 a month for sort of like a casual membership, and they have food truck lunch and other things. Anyway, there was this span of I don't know, from the beginning until maybe a couple of years ago, where it was Tesla bulls versus Tesla bears versus Tesla Q. And the battle was Tesla bulls were saying, hey, Tesla's a great company. We're seeing great things. This is wonderful. We're really excited about it. And now we're heading towards, there's really no question that Tesla's a successful company, right? They're profitable, they're growing, they're producing great products. So there's not really a question there. And the Tesla Q people kind of got quiet for a while because Tesla's success was undeniable. And now we're in this weird moment where it's people who claim to be Tesla bulls have all of a sudden become what I would describe as Tesla sheep, that they seem to understand the business story, right? The business story is pretty much undeniable. Thank you, Jim. The business story is pretty much undeniable that Tesla is growing fast, that Tesla is profitable, that Tesla's profits are growing fast, that they're innovating like crazy. They're coming up with really cool stuff, FSD, bot, Megapack, Powerwall, auto bidder. There's a machine learning. There's so many good things happening. The Neuralink coming out of your head. Oh, the Neuralink coming out of my head. Yeah, new glasses, by the way. Just picked these up today on the way here. So, and there's something has happened with the stock market in Tesla stock, which is the stock market, the stock price has become completely detached from the company fundamentals. Tesla's still growing. There's no problem with Tesla's execution, right? Tesla's growing fast. Are we still good? I'm getting weird signals from YouTube. I think we're good. Stream's bitrate is lower than whatever. Okay. I'm on a decent Wi-Fi connection. So Tesla is growing well. They're still increasing production of vehicles like 50% a year or close to it. They're probably going to hit a 2 million a year vehicle run rate by the end of this year. It's actually a little less than 40,000 vehicles a week that you need. I think they've said that their target is 40,000 vehicles a week by the end of the year. They're getting close to that, and 40,000 vehicles a week would actually be a little bit more than 2 million vehicles a year. So, if you go back, like 2021, they produced 936,000 vehicles. or maybe they delivered 930. They were in the ballpark of 900 to 950,000 vehicles, and now we're at a run rate of 2 million. That's pretty substantial growth. And Giga Shanghai is producing more than all of Tesla produced last year. So that's good. The Megapack factory is rolling in Lathrop, California. I'm trying to remember, somebody was messaging me about the Megapack factory, that they're between the Megapack factory in Lathrop, California and the factory in Giga, Nevada. He thought they were producing more than 30 megapacks a week, which, you know, they're like $4 million a pop. No, they're $2 million a pop. So when you add that up and you say, okay, let's say they do 30 megapacks a week, which they're definitely going to scale to more than that, but 30 megapacks a week times 50 weeks, it's 1,500 megapacks, $2 million a megapack. You just do some math and that's billions of dollars. That's $3 billion a year just on megapack, and that's growing. And they're saying I think it was in the Q3 investor call, they said that megapack power, that Tesla Energy was now on a pace to grow at 150 to 200% a year. So right now, energy is maybe 5 or 10% of Tesla's revenue, but it's heading towards, you know, if it's going to grow at 200% a year or 150% a year, and Tesla vehicles are going to grow at 50% a year, then you're going to see Tesla Energy start to grow to be a larger and larger share of Tesla's revenue and Tesla's profit. And then you've got the good news with FSD beta, version 11 is coming anytime soon. And then I think there's some, you know, 10.69.3.3 version going around, but version 11 of FSD beta should be coming soon. They're making progress on bot. They're making progress on Dojo. There's all this good news. And where am I? Hey, Tom, I'm at Groundswell in Melbourne, Florida. This is a startup and incubator community. Highly recommend joining an incubator or startup or co-working space near you. Hang out there once or twice a week. Get to meet people who are also innovators. It's a nice place to be around. It's nice to be around innovators. People, and Melbourne, for those who don't know, has got a really big engineering population because of all the space and defense industry stuff in the area. So, yeah, the stock is down. But it doesn't, like, if you are a long-term investor, right? If you're not, there's this problem that a lot of people have invested in Tesla and they get stressed when they see the stock price go down. Now, and people are like, well, Elon should do something about it. What is he supposed to do? I mean, he's been the CEO of the company since the beginning, basically, and the stock has gone up and down. And you know, whether he's at the company full time or not, the stock goes up and down. This is a market-driven thing. The idea that a CEO can just somehow wave a magic wand and the stock price goes up is nonsense, or that they're going to do a stock buyback and somehow that's going to signal to the markets that all is well. As if, you know, I think we're waiting for the one big thing I would like to see is they talked about announcing the next gigafactory. And I really think they need to announce 3 or 4 gigafactories because I think that's what's coming. And that's, you know, you want to say, given, you know, buying $5 billion worth of Tesla stock is a sign of confidence. How about we're going to build 4 new factories? That's a sign of confidence. Building a lithium refining facility in Corpus Christi, Texas. That's a sign of confidence. There's all kinds of signs of Tesla leadership confident in the future of the company. So what's happened is people feel pain. It's not real pain, right? It's just, you know, they've identified so much. They've invested a lot in Tesla stock, and they see Tesla stock going on. Look, I've invested a ridiculous amount in Tesla stock, and I see my shares going up and up and up in the future. And apparently nobody does this. So it's easy to say, well, wait a minute, I feel like I'm not as wealthy because my stock is down. I'm like, well, okay, but the stock, if you're concerned, so then what happens is people are feeling pain, right? And look, when you feel pain, you go to your doctor and you ask your doctor, why do I have this pain? What can we do about it? And the answer right now is, you know, why is Tesla stock down? And there's no easy answer to this question. The answer to the question fundamentally is short-term stock prices are disjointed from reality. They're disconnected from reality. They always have been. And so you see these stock price movements going up and down, and the stock goes down, and you're like, oh, I feel pain. Well, there's no real solution to your pain. But there are people there's no real explanation for why the stock is down. You could go with, there's a lot of, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of explanations for why the stock is down. There's no good explanations for why the stock is down. And there are people, one of them rhymes with Gary Black, another one rhymes with Ross Gerber. And there's a lot of them. I'm not specifically singling out Gary and Ross, but, Gary is sort of the ringleader of, I have the answers. He's the magician. He knows all the answers. He's wrong. He's the wrongest man in the Tesla universe, but, it doesn't matter how often Gary's wrong. There's people who just believe in him. I don't know if it's because he's, an old white guy who looks like he's credible. I'm an old white guy. Do I look like I'm credible? Maybe the glasses will help. Maybe I'm credible now. I don't know. But the problem is I don't give you stories about why the stock is down today, why the stock was down yesterday, why the stock is down last week. I don't have answers. I don't think anybody does. I think the idea that somebody out there knows why the stock is down, if Gary knew the stock was going to be, if he knew in advance the stock was going to be going down, why did he buy it for his fund at the all-time high? Why didn't he sell before it was going down? This is a guy who's wrong all the time. And I'm telling you, I can't tell you why the stock is down. I can't tell you when it's going to go back up. I can tell you that Tesla, the company, is continuing to grow, is continuing to do well. That Tesla, the company, over the past 3 years with a public health crisis and economic challenges, grew at a roughly 50% rate a year while lots of other companies were shrinking. And you can go on the short-term stock price thing and say, oh, no, the stock is down. Well, Rivian and Lucid are down more. I mean, and you could say, oh, GM isn't down as much. So what? GM is a shit company. Sorry, but GM's just a shit company. They're not connected in the same way. They're not an EV manufacturer. Rivian is probably the closest comparison, and Rivian is down like 80% on the year or 70% on the year, while Tesla's down like 50 or 60%. So why is Rivian down so much? Rivian's doing great. I met this guy here. I'm at Groundswell Startups. I met this guy, Derek, and he's an engineer. He has an engineering company, and he has a Rivian R1T. And he gave us a tour. He showed us around the vehicle. It's really cool. I still think that Rivian has a problem. It's so cool. There's so many features. It's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of pickup trucks. Like, it's got to be really expensive to make that thing. How do you manufacture that thing at scale, get the cost down so you can sell it so that you can cost you less to build it than you sell it for? But at least Rivian has a big cash pile. Yes, they're burning a lot of cash, but they have a path to a future. And they haven't had, I haven't seen any problems with Rivian, but their stock is down like 70, 80% more than Tesla's. So did RJ Scaringe buy MySpace, and has he been making political comments that upset people? I don't know. Why is Rivian down? I'm looking, I would love to hear Gary's explanation for why Rivian's down. Is it the MySpace overhang? There's overhangs, and you just come up, and this is the thing, you come up with cute terms like the Twitter overhang. But here's what's really going on. And I want to talk about bulls for a second. So Stephen Mark Ryan is a Tesla bull. Ron Barron is a Tesla bull. Bruce Burnworth is a Tesla bull. Jason DeBolt is a Tesla bull. Dave Lee is a Tesla bull. These are people who get that what matters is the company's success. That you're not investing in a stock, you're investing in a company. And if you're looking at that company, you're saying, how's the company doing? The company's doing great. I mean, look, I invested in Tesla. I own X percent, like a tiny, tiny percent of Tesla, right? I have, X thousand shares of Tesla stock, and that equates to, 1/1000% of the company, or probably less than that. Probably a lot less than that, whatever. I own like my little stake of this company that's growing and doing well and making profits. So if you bought Tesla stock to own the stock, that might be the mistake. If you bought Tesla stock to own the company, you want a piece of this company that is doing great things, then you're fine, because you still own the same percentage of Tesla stock that you owned before. You still own the same percentage of the company that you owned before. What some dude on Wall Street is willing to pay you for that stock tomorrow is less than you would like it to be, but you're not selling tomorrow anyway, so who cares? So there's this group of people, Gary, Ross, Alexandra, Squawk Square, Yaman sometimes, who are distressed by the stock price being down, and they feel your pain. They feel your pain. And they're offering you bullshit answers to why you're suffering. They're not correct, right? They don't have correct answers. They said when they got investment grade credit rating, the stock would go up. The stock went down when they got investment grade credit rating. Said the Twitter overhang was lifted and the stock would go up and the stock went down. And, they just keep making up overhangs and making up stories to try to help you with your pain. And, I'd like to tell you I know what's going to turn the stock around. I don't know what's going to turn the stock around. I think the macro explanation is probably the best explanation, that markets on the whole are down. And then Tesla is, somebody called it a 2 beta stock. Tesla is more volatile than the average stock on the stock market. So when the market's down, Tesla will be down more. When the market's up, Tesla will go up more. There's things going on with interest rates and, recession, signs of recession, issues in China with lockdowns, inhibiting demand to some extent. Now, and then so when you look at the company as a whole, you say, well, okay, so you can look at the stock and you can see all these explanations for why the stock's up or down. And I'm not going to tell you I know. If you're looking for somebody to give you answers, I guess you can go to Gary or Ross or Alexandra and they'll give you answers. No offense to them, but they're bullshit answers because they don't know. I don't know. They don't know. You don't know. We don't know. And the cold hard answer is we don't know why the stock is down today. We don't know why the stock is down this week. We don't know why the stock is down compared to where we believe it should be, right? Because there's really no, when you look at it from how do you analyze companies and stocks on a fundamental level, that probably the biggest thing you look at is the price earnings ratio. That's probably the most common thing people look at is they say, what is this company producing in profits and what price are you paying for those profits? So price to earnings. So on a company that's not growing, you might pay a price earnings rate. You might have a price earnings ratio of, let's say, 10. And this is affected to some extent by what interest rates are, because if you can invest in bonds at 10%, then a company with a price earnings ratio of 10, you're not making any more money than you'd make by owning bonds. And bonds have some advantage over stocks that, if the company collapses, the bondholders collect first. I think interest rates are around 5%, and you can buy bonds and, decent corporate bonds for more than 5%, 6, 7, 8% right now. So that puts pressure on stocks that they have to return higher earnings. So Alex John's here. So here's another story. This is another bullshit story that people believe. Alex John says, dude, come on. Elon dumped a ton of shares on the retail investors. Okay, it is true that when a large shareholder sells some stock, they sell, let's say Elon sold 1% of the stock in the company. That creates a supply side pressure on the stock, and there isn't demand to pick it up right away. And so the stock will dip when somebody sells, 0.5% of the company or 1% of the company, which I think Elon sold about 1% of the company. Don't forget, Elon had stock options, and he exercised stock options, and he owns about the same share of the company he owned before. Maybe he owns a little less. And he has more stock options coming, and he's going to climb back up and own, more stock in the future. So, but this idea that, what did he say? So the idea that Elon selling stock depressed the stock, that's a short-term effect. That's like a days to, 1 or 2 weeks effect. That's not a long-term effect because the fundamentals decide the value of a company, right? And the price earnings ratio didn't change when Elon sold stock. Thank you, Kiamte, for your support. So that's another, it's a story, and I agree that if Elon sells a chunk of stock, that's going to create downward pressure on the stock for the next couple days, for the next week or two, whatever. But the markets catch up to that because sophisticated long-term investors value a company based on what the company's growth is, what the profits are, what the earnings are. That's how you value a company. You don't value a company on, did the CEO sell stock? You could say, well, when insiders sell stock, that's a sign that they lack confidence in the company. Do any of you think that Elon lacks confidence in Tesla? Do any of you think that Drew Baglino and Zach Kirkhorn and Lars and Ashok and Martin Viecha, do you think any of these people who are in the leadership of Tesla, do you think any of them lack confidence in the company? They're investing in growth. They're investing in innovation. They're doing all these things. Elon is already moderating himself on tweets. No, he's not. Oh, that's another one. Elon's tweeting, and that's causing the stock to go down. Elon's tweeting, and people won't buy Tesla cars. That's another one. So I love Troy Teslake. I want to stress this. I love Troy Teslake. I encourage people to become Patreon supporters of Troy Teslake. I am a Patreon supporter of Troy Teslake. Troy has taken this position that Tesla is going to start reducing production or not increasing production as much because of demand issues. And I think Troy is wrong, and I think Tesla has been very clear, no, we're increasing production as fast as we can. And Troy has these backlog numbers that show that for certain models of Teslas, they don't have a backlog anymore. That if you order a Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus or a Tesla Model X Plaid or Model S Plaid, you get it in about a week. I think he's probably off a tiny bit, but I think he's roughly correct. That it's not like there's, but that there's not a long wait to get certain models of Tesla vehicles. But it's not like there's parking lots full of Model 3 Standard Range that are just piling up and nobody's buying them. It's just that they've now hit sort of an equilibrium on those vehicles. But here's the thing. The long-range Model 3 has so much demand that they had to stop taking orders for it. The long-range Model Y, the long-range Model X, they have huge demand. They can't make them fast enough. And all Tesla has to do is say, you know what? All right, we've exhausted demand, or we've reached a sort of equilibrium on Model 3 Standard Range Plus. We're going to shift production to Model 3 long range. We're going to shift production to Model Y long range because the Model Y performance now you can get that pretty quick. All they have to do is say we're going to just shift production and produce more long range Model 3s. I mean, the long range Model 3 versus the performance Model 3, it's just like a slightly different motor. It's the same battery pack. I don't think the differences are that great between those vehicles. They can ramp production that whenever they want. So this is the distinction. There's people who are genuine bulls who are looking at the company saying, this is where I see the company going, and this is what it's worth. And then there's people who are distracted, right? They're so distracted by the stock price itself, and they're missing the story about the company. And so I think it was, what's the guy's name? Kogan Leo. He's now saying, oh, there's problems. Kogan Leo is a trader. He's buying, he was a leveraged buyer. Look, I don't buy on margin. I don't stress out about margin. I did buy some options. I just recently, full disclosure, first of all, disclosure, I own a shit ton of Tesla stock, and I recently bought options. My options strike date is June 2024, $350 strike price for 2024. If I lose $9,000. If I win, I might make $100,000. We'll see. Honestly, I'm just playing the game for the sake of playing the game. I think it's fun to do little things that are different sometimes. But I'm largely almost entirely invested. I have a couple other investments. I think I own a little Arcimoto, and I own equity in my house and my cars and my guns. So you can't even order a long-range Model Y in Australia. Yeah, they can. Look, so there's these solutions that people are all like we need, like one of the wackiest things is like, well, we need to put somebody else on the board of directors. Like, what is the board of directors doing wrong? Right? What do you expect the board of directors to do? Here's the thing. Drew Baglino is working balls out to get 4680 production up and running, to get superchargers deployed, and he's doing a fantastic job at this stuff. To get Model Y, 4680 Model Y going. Zach Kirkhorn's doing a spectacular job managing the finances of the company. Lars is doing a great job with Cybertruck. We saw like a preview of Cybertruck with the Giga castings, and Sandy Monroe did an analysis. Okay, that's not one piece casting. That's like 5 pieces, whatever. But that's all prototype stuff. They delivered semi. Thank you, Benjamin Sanders. Thank you. Yes, let Elon. This idea that like Elon is a problem because he went over to Twitter to do some work. This is a tremendous sign of confidence in Tesla. That Elon said, you know what, I can reduce my time at Tesla and I can put time into fixing this Twitter problem. Right? He has confidence in the Tesla team. He has confidence in the SpaceX team that he can go and dump a bunch of his hours into fixing Twitter. That seems great to me. I think that's a really good sign. And number one, this idea that like there's like Elon's changed somehow. Like, look, Elon started up Tesla and SpaceX at the same time. He started up the Boring Company. He started up Neuralink. Why wasn't there a Neuralink overhang when they had the Neuralink event? Why isn't there a Boring overhang? They just make shit up. So the idea that, you need to put somebody else on the board of directors and that like Ross Gerber or Gary Black would be good on the Tesla board of directors. And I've made a video about this, but I want to stress this. If you look at the qualifications of the people who are on the board of directors of Tesla, they're fucking amazing. And they're, generally speaking, their experience is far broader than I run an exchange traded fund and I manage money for people, right? They worked in manufacturing. They worked in retail. They worked in human resources. They worked in various aspects of what a business does. Telecommunications, Robin Denholm, telecommunications. And I think it was Robin worked at Toyota of Australia. So she worked in cars. Hiromichi Mizuno was the head of the largest pension fund in the world. You think that Gary Black knows about investing when Hiromichi Mizuno... Do you think Gary knows more about investing than Hiromichi Mizuno? And then you've got the international experience of the board, right? You got Hiromichi Mizuno. He's got experience from Japan. You've got Denholm and Murdoch are both Australians. Murdoch has, huge experience around the world. They're and what do Ross knows Hollywood? I love Ross. I just want to be clear. I love Ross. I think Ross is a wonderful guy. I think he stuck with Tesla through lots of stretches and made good decisions and has been a good voice for Tesla over time. I think right now he's kind of lost that a little bit, but I still love the guy. Gary Black's kind of late on the scene. He talks a big game and he's full of shit. He's just full of shit. He doesn't stand for anything. He doesn't know much about the company. He doesn't understand machine learning. He doesn't understand software. He doesn't understand what bot is about. He doesn't understand what Dojo's about. He gets that Tesla makes cars. He sort of gets that self-driving will matter at some point, but he doesn't really understand what's special about self-driving. So, and then this idea that we need to replace Elon as CEO. Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you fucking crazy? You want to take the most spectacular genius, engineer, and business leader in the history of the world, and you want to remove him from the leadership of this company. The guy who all the engineers want to work for and work with. You want to take that guy away from this company, and you think that's going to be good for the company. You're out of your fucking mind. You are just batshit fucking crazy. If you go and look, you see this every once in a while. Where do the top engineers from colleges want to work? They want to work at Tesla and they want to work at SpaceX. What's the one thing that Tesla and SpaceX have in common? They're run by Elon Musk. You want to take the guy they want to work for away. You don't recognize that the reason that Tesla and SpaceX are so successful is because Elon attracts amazing talent and gets them to work amazingly hard. He sets a great mission, a borderline unachievable missions, like the impossible mission. This is what we're going to go for. We're going to build a fucking colony on Mars. Right? We're going to build a colony on Mars. Right? How batshit crazy is that? And he gets people to believe in it, and he commits to it, and he works his ass off at it, and he sees that they see him working hard, and they work hard. And it's spectacular. And you see it at Tesla. We're going to transition the world to sustainable energy and transportation. We're going to make electric vehicles. We're going to make the best damn cars in the world. And I have probably the best damn car in the world, the Model X Plaid. Amazing car. Just absolutely amazing car. You think Mary Barra, you think Herbert Diess would make a Model X Plaid? Seriously, you think any of these people would come up with a Cybertruck? Come on. They get it, okay? If you tossed Elon to the side, you said, well, they did it, what is your role model here? Like you're going to toss Steve Jobs aside for John Scully? What are you thinking? This is so dumb that you think this is a solution, and that there's people who own stock in Tesla who are thinking, do you realize what would happen to Tesla stock if Elon was canned? If they pushed Elon to the side, engineers would start leaving the company. Companies lost its direction. Stock would get cut in half in a day if Elon was fired. You're absolutely out of your minds. Absolutely batshit crazy. No way. It's nuts. So there's this thing that the people who are invested in Tesla stock who can't handle the pain that the stock is down, and they're looking for answers. Ultimately, it's like, look, you either believe in the company or you don't. You either believe in Elon. If you don't believe in Elon Musk, then why the hell did you invest in Tesla stock? The reason I bought Tesla stock was 2015, December 21, 2015, SpaceX landed the first orbital rocket booster. 7 years ago. 7 years ago. No one else has even tried to do it. Rocket Lab sort of tried to bring a booster back and catch it with a helicopter. Okay, kind of innovative, but they didn't try to propulsively land an orbital rocket booster. They didn't have a plan for rapid reuse, right? Rapid and low-cost reuse. And that was 7 years ago. I remember that happening, that like within 3 months, I started buying Tesla stock, and I never stopped buying Tesla stock, and I haven't sold Tesla stock. Just to be clear, one time I sold Tesla stock in one account and bought in another account. Same amount, 100 shares. So, but I have never sold a share other than that one time, and that was like I bought the same amount that I sold, just a shift between two accounts. So, you know, you look at what he's done. Look at then drive a Model 3. Just drive a Model 3, drive a Model Y, drive a Tesla, drive a Model S. They're amazing. They're the best cars on the road. They're the safest cars on the road. They're the fastest cars on the road. They're the most efficient cars on the road. You got diesel fuel is like $5 a gallon now, and Tesla comes out with a semi. Game changer. This is a game-changing product. Now, I think long run, semi, maybe 10% of Tesla revenue, but that's still good. And at some point, revenue from semi, I mean, I'm talking like 3, 4, 5 years from now, revenue from semi alone is going to be bigger than revenue this year for Tesla. That's just one product. So there's these sheep who bleed out. Meh. Elon tweet. Meh. Meh. Knockdown. Meh. This is much ado about nothing. And this is a key distinction, okay? A Tesla bull is someone who's invested in the company. A Tesla sheep is someone who's invested in the stock. Okay? Now, Tesla Q is somebody who's shorting the company or believes the company is going to fail. But if you believe in the company, if you're investing in the company, there's no problem. Does it suck that the stock is down? Sure. Now, on the bright side, if you have any spare cash, you can buy more cheap. It's a opportunity. I'm dying. I'm hoping. This is so perverse because I own so much Tesla stock. I am hoping this. Please keep the stock down until like February. I should have my house sold by February. I should have about a pile of cash. I expect to be dumping $100,000 into Tesla stock. If you guys could keep it down around 160, I'd really appreciate that. All you Tesla sheep bleeding about Elon, keep the stock down around 160 as long as you can because I want to buy more. That's coming. Yeah, I mean, all right. Let's see. Let me look at the chat. I just want to see what people are saying in the chat. I've been ranting for a while here. How long have I been going? I'm almost 45 minutes, maybe. No, it's about 30 minutes. Semi disrupts trucking. Yes, semi doesn't disrupt trucking. Moon says semi disrupts trucking. Semi actually disrupts trains as well. That semi is such a big shift in the cost of trucking, such a big reduction in the cost of trucking that they're actually going to take market share from trains as well. It's absolutely amazing. My head looks like the mic. Is that right? Does my head look like the mic? It's not just short-term versus long-term. It's like if your perception is the stock versus the company. That's the real distinction. If you're looking at the company, there's no problem. The company's doing great. Yeah, Fired Up Phil says Elon's time allocation has always been complicated. It's no big deal. Absolutely. I mean, where was the SpaceX overhang all the time that Elon was spending working on rocket engines? Why wasn't this a problem? Oh, I can curse on the video. YouTube would demonetize me if I cursed a lot or if I cursed early in the video. So if I drop an occasional F-bomb or I drop an occasional S-bomb, it's okay. Steve Dowler, as far as YouTube is concerned, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Steve Dowler says, and what would Elon do if he got kicked out of Tesla? Those engineers, a lot of others, would go wherever he goes. He wouldn't sit in a $500 million. Well, he'd be working on SpaceX, and he'd be working on Twitter, he'd be working on Neuralink, and he'd be working on Boring Company. If he got kicked out of Tesla, maybe he starts another EV company. I don't know. What do I think about Sarasota, Florida? It's a nice spot. I think most of Florida is great. I'm not that keen on South Florida, which is Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade, but I think the rest of Florida, almost the entire rest of Florida is fantastic. Is it accurate that the semi-payload is reduced 21% from diesel rigs? No, that is false. Semi-payload is the same as diesel rigs. They are allowed an extra 2,000 pounds under regulatory rules because they're electric. Dan says, thank you for your support, Steve Dowler. Thank you for your support, Dan. Dan says, I bought 42,069 Tesla shares over the past 6 months. I've been cheering it on as it drops. I sleep very well. Yeah. I foresee a dedicated semi-gigafactory. I was just talking with Brian from Next Big Future, and Brian thinks the market for semi is potentially as big as 4 million vehicles a year. I think he's crazy. I think the upside for Tesla, and I think he kind of agreed, okay, maybe 500,000 a year, but 500,000 semis, call it $200,000 a piece. You just get like, that's just nuts. I think that's like $100 billion a year in revenue. Maybe it's more than that. Elon was being doxxed, no problem with Elon. Oh, did they suspend Elon Jet? That's awesome. Am I concerned at all about raw material supply to support growth projections? Great question, MC. That is the biggest concern, the raw material supply to support growth projections. So my understanding from, I think it was Martin Vieca and maybe it was somebody else, was that there's no raw materials problem for the next couple years. And then the question is, where do raw materials come from after that? And I think that's part of Master Plan Part 3, which we are waiting on. But I think Tesla's already executing Master Plan Part 3, even if they haven't told us what it is yet. That's the lithium refining facility in Corpus Christi is a big part of it. Thoughts on Elon complimenting Obama? Elon has always liked Obama. Let's see. Tesla Q will be buying again with profits. Wait for it to 3x to sell the shares and start shorting again, and it's legal. Why? Shorting is legal because that increases liquidity in markets, and I think there's a reasonable explanation for why shorting is allowed. It allows people to hedge. There are reasons why it's legal. I'm not a fan of it, but it is what it is. It's not what I want to do with my money. How easily stockholders forget Elon made them rich in the first place. Insane entitlement. Exactly. Meanwhile, the team at Tesla dropped the biggest holiday release of all time, basically turning your car into an Xbox, PS5, Steam Deck, and adding track mode to Model Y. Did they release track mode for Model Y? Awesome. If one truly knows Tesla fundamentals, they will also be secure in their knowledge of long-term demand. Elon's greatest ability was to identify talent and assemble teams so he doesn't have to stand in the room. Yep. Do you think Twitter has nothing to do with Tesla stock downturn? Yes, Twitter has. Well, first of all, I don't explain Tesla stock price. I don't claim to understand why Tesla stock goes up or down on the short term. It's not. Twitter has nothing to do with Tesla's performance as a company in the short term. I think it may be a boost to Tesla's performance in the long term. I can see. Let me just talk about that really quick, because Elon said he's going to make sure that Twitter contributes to the value of Tesla as a company. Tesla's an AI company. Now, they're already using language models for FSD for lane changes. And they're going to be using language models for bot to understand communications with it. The car will probably understand communications with it using that AI. There was a reference to not just using text-based models for AI, but also using image-based models for AI. And we're seeing some really cool improvements in AI developing images, sort of artistic images. I think Elon's going further. Twitter is a massive source of text, so you can use Twitter to train language models. Twitter is a massive source, has a massive data pile of pictures, so you can use Twitter to train image models. And Twitter also has a massive amount of video, and Twitter's going to be adding features to allow a lot more video. So I think we're going to see Twitter use AI to train video-based models, and that's going to translate to bot. That's going to translate to the cars as well. I think there's something in that. I'm not saying that's it. I think that might be it. Alex John says his chicken's ego inflated now. Did the stock hit 140? Chicken Genius said it was going to go down to 140. Is it down there yet? Global silver shortage. I'm not aware of that. People go crazy when Elon agrees with the Republicans, but they don't know people when he agrees with Democrats. Yeah, Elon Musk. Elon endorsed Andrew Yang for president. And why weren't people upset about Elon being so here's Boss USA. Any concerns about Elon going into politics? No. Look, Elon's going to be Elon. If you don't want to be invested in a company that's got Elon at the helm, sell your stock and buy another company. But he endorsed Andrew Yang, and all these people saying Elon shouldn't be in politics, shouldn't be involved in politics, why weren't you complaining when he endorsed Andrew Yang? It's ridiculous. And you're saying, oh, well, that's a Democrat. Well, he endorsed one Democrat. There were other Democrats running. Why didn't he offend the other Democrats? Why wasn't that a problem? It's Elon. Danny Ames says it's Elon's. Do I think Q4 delivery numbers will ease demand worries? Are you also worried about how Tesla will do in a recession? So I don't think Q4 delivery numbers will necessarily be great. I think they'll be high, but I don't think they'll be great. I think Q4 production numbers will be great. I don't think there are demand worries. I think there are sheep have demand worries. There's no demand. Here's the thing. There's sort of like a global market for cars, right? There's a market for vehicles. You can say an EV market, but that's nonsense because some people buy electric vehicles and some people buy gas vehicles, and some people are making a decision between one or the other. It's a vehicle market. Tesla makes the best cars. So if the market for cars shrinks, then Tesla still sells more cars. Because until all the other cars are gone, if Tesla makes the best cars, people are going to buy Teslas before they buy other cars. Wait, what was that question? It's a question about gigafactories. How many more gigafactories do you think Tesla will build between now and 2030? Where do you think they will build them? Good question. I think Elon said about 10. If each factory makes 2 million vehicles apiece on average, and they have a total of 10 factories, that would do it. Now Fremont is never going to make 2 million. And this sort of, and where I think you're going to see primarily China, North America, and Europe. And then I think Japan will have at least one gigafactory. The UK seems like a good potential location for a gigafactory. India eventually, maybe, if they can get their economy in order and get their incentives in order. When will IRS declare vehicles eligible for IRA tax credits? We don't know when the IRS is going to clarify that the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits. We don't know the answer to that. Oh, thank you, Mark N. Just so it can be a translator. Absolutely. If you want buybacks, sell Tesla and buy Apple. Exactly. Thank you, Farouk, for your support. Anthony Dacus says there will always be those who complain because it's long-term investors. Are you guys getting an interruption? I'm seeing an interruption, but I don't know if you guys are seeing an interruption. At least 5 gigafactory locations planned and in progress to be built. Well, I think we're going to see more factories in Austin. How are we doing? Are you guys seeing an interruption in signal? I can't tell. I keep getting messages from. You are getting interruptions. All right, I've got a great Wi-Fi connection. Sorry about this. I don't know. We were good. I think we're okay. Just video, not audio. Okay, the audio is good, then I'll just keep talking. Thank you for clearing that up, MC. Yes, 30 people have said yes, I agree. So, factory locations, I think we're going to see more factories, at least one more factory in Austin, probably 2 or more. I think we might see factories, at least 1 or more. I think Drew Baglino said we're going to see 1,000 gigawatt hours of cell production in the United States. I think we're going to see lithium iron phosphate cell production in the United States. I think we're going to see more. Removing Elon because of Twitter would be like removing Michael Jordan because of Space Jam. Excellent. I love that comment. I'm at a place that has a really good Wi-Fi. I think they must be just using a lot inside right now. Signal in and out. All right. Well, maybe this is a sign I should wrap it up. What do you think? Why not address the elephant in the room that Elon's tweets have turned the brand negative and quantifiably? So BB says, this is a good comment from BB. He says, why not address the elephant in the room that Elon's tweets have turned the brand negative and quantifiably so? This is really annoying. I had a good signal before. I have a great Wi-Fi signal. So Elon's tweets have not affected the brand. Any effect on the brand is trivial. And look, if you are a Democrat and you're not happy with what you're seeing from Tesla, then I'm going to suggest you probably talk to your party about why they're shitting on the best company in the world that is accelerating the transition, that's doing the things you said you wanted done. Why has Joe Biden been shitting on Elon and Tesla for over 2 years? Why has the Democratic Party been shitting on Tesla and Elon for over 2 years? All right, it looks like this video problem is not going to go away, so I'm going to wrap this up now. I'm going to thank everyone for your support, and unfortunately I won't be keeping going, but thanks everyone for your support, and check out the t-shirts. Please share this video with your friends, and support me on the Locals platform.